Hi, Polk County Democrats. I'm honored to be here tonight, even though it's all the way from across the pond in London. I'm so sorry about that. It's so hard to schedule, family time and being an activist and trying to make everything just sort of fit just right when you don't know kids' schedules. So, but we're just going to go right ahead and we're going to give this a go. You may know me as the mom who started Mothers Against Greg Abbott, otherwise known as MAGA the Good, as we like to call it in the group. Or you may know Mothers Against Greg Abbott from our viral ads that we have put out. But what you may not know yet is that we are changing our name. And soon we're going to be expanding some of the scope of our work. So our new name is going to be Mothers for Democracy. And we decided to change our name after the 22 election when we realized that in Texas, we really have a voter apathy issue. And we need to do something about that. So we realized that if we wanted to do something about that, that really required us forming a C3. So we did that. So we formed a C3, and in our C3 arm, which is going to be called Mothers for Democracy Institute, we are going to be focused on civics education, GOTV work, and also producing media for Democrats and for policy issues and for history and educating voters about the issues at hand with each election. And along with that, we also formed a C4, and our C4 is Mothers for Democracy. And in the C4, we're going to be producing message ads along messaging for gun safety and voting rights and voting apathy and GOTV messaging, as well as some other messaging that really can be related to by most Americans as well as Texans. So we're really trying to branch out with some larger messaging issues across the country. So, and then we're just not going to stop there. We also decided to form a federal PAC. And in our federal PAC, because it's a federal PAC, we can actually go after Ted Cruz. So we're so excited about that, going after Ted Cruz, because it means that we can't just go after Ted Cruz. We'll be able to help out Michelle Vallejo and go after Monica De La Cruz, as well as other federal level Republicans. So it's definitely a win-win for everybody. So while I've been here in London, today I took my kids to go see the Churchill War Rooms. I don't know if any of you all have been to Churchill War Rooms, but it's this great museum based on Winston Churchill. And I just thought it was really important to go and learn about the last time that fascism just felt just really serious. So I took the kids to go see that because I thought it was really important that they know that people had to hide, in basements and underneath bunkers, and the bombing in London was really bad, and the city pretty much burnt down. A lot of buildings were ruined. So I wanted to just educate them about that time. But there was a quote on the wall, and it said, "There's only one thing worse than fighting with allies, and that is fighting without them." And when I read this quote, even though I know it was about World War II, there was something relatable in this quote. And let's think about that for a minute, because it did feel really personal and it felt relatable as far as Texas is concerned. Because since our election last fall, and I've been meeting with a lot of you. I've been meeting with you guys in the hallways of the Capitol, or I've been on Zoom calls with you, or I've been on phone calls with a lot of you all. And many of you all have confided in me that you guys are starting a new organization to do something that currently isn't being done by the Texas Democratic Party, or something that the Texas Democratic Party isn't supporting or doing, or maybe they didn't do it well. And since then, I've learned a lot, actually. I've decided to sort of dive into what's going on with the party and what we can do. And I come to realize that, yes, as a party, we're really struggling, definitely. And there's so many issues at hand. But there's not one of these issues that cannot be addressed by all of us working together, and working smarter and just talking to one another. So I really, come to the understanding that the greatest weakness in the party right now is that they haven't brought all of our allies together. And I'm sitting there and looking at that quote, and it just kind of came to me. Yeah, that's the problem. We have so many different allies, but we're not working together. So I really feel like this is a time that we all need to start working together. And it kind of made me think like, well, how do we work together? How can we make this happen? So I'm going to ask all of you tonight to join Mothers Against Greg Abbott, join me, join your county parties, join other groups, and ask everyone that you know, listen, we know that the party has some issues. Yeah. We know that there's a lot of miscommunication, but we also know that we can fix it. And we can fix it, by working together. So can you join us? Because right now, we just got out of this ledge. We're going to be doing maybe one or two more sessions of this legislature. And it was rough. And it was pretty clear what the Texas GOP is doing and which direction they're going. So I'm going to reach to all of you, and I just want to ask you, can you help us fight for democracy, for all of our individual rights and freedoms? I mean, fighting for the women, fighting for our LGBTQ community, fighting for our teachers, fighting for our friends, fighting for local community control, because we lost a lot of those rights this last session. So here is my ask of Polk County right now, and of all of you. I am inviting all of you to join us. Let's all become allies in this fight for democracy, especially during a time in which fascism is at our doorstep in Texas, and it's coming in the name of Christian nationalism. So how do we do this? How do we get started? How do we do this? Because it's a huge job, right? It's huge. So the first thing that we need to do is to work with your local Democratic county chairs, and let's recruit precinct chairs and make sure that all of our precinct chairs are filled. Next is that we need to join up with our counties and help identify candidates to run for office right now. We need to make sure that we fill every single seat, from city offices to local district county attorneys, and then moving all the way up to state level offices. For example, there's some really terrible people that won offices that never had a Democrat opposing them. I mean, I'm talking about Brian Harrison, talking about Tinderholtz. I mean, we need people to start running against a lot of these terrible Texas GOP Republicans who just don't have anyone running against them. So our goal is to fill every seat, from a precinct level seat all the way to candidate level seats, mayor seats, city councils, district attorneys. We need to start filling every single seat, because all of these seats eventually turn into a pipeline going all the way up to the US congressional level. It's more important that we fill these seats now more than ever so we can start seeing what our pipeline looks like. So next, I want you all to join us in a candidate raising. So this is a new term. Do you remember what barn raisings used to be like, when everybody get together and they build a barn over the weekend? We are going to start doing candidate raisings all over Texas, but we're going to do this at such a cool level. We're going to pick areas of Texas and we're going to get together with them, and we're going to basically help them build their websites, build their platform, do press releases, figure out how to get a lot of our Texas candidates launched and off the ground. So we are currently planning, and we are going to be going on tour all over Texas, doing candidate raisings and trying to not only fill the pipeline and fill every seat, but get these candidates launched and off the ground. So we hope that you will sign up to help, volunteer. So we can need volunteers all over Texas to support multiple candidates in your areas. Help them with things such as web design, PR, communications, data, planning out how they're going to start knocking on doors, planning out, a little bit of their strategy. We need people to help our candidates, because a lot of times people decide to run for office and then they get abandoned. So we need to build micro campaign teams in counties to help out the candidates that need the little bit of extra work, of maybe just they don't know what to do, so we can help support them. Next is that we are also going to be doing fundraisers. to help pay for candidate filing fees. It is more important now than ever to help pool all of our money together to make this happen, especially in counties that don't have as much money or they have candidates that are running up against some really deep pockets in the Republican Party. So we can start doing this. We can actually start fighting back and working together on good change and helping those candidates save their money for where they need to be spending the money the most. Next is we need to learn how to build up at the micro level, like I was just talking about, so then we can start building up our state level offices. I'm talking about our pipelines, and this is just how we do it. We have to start at the smallest level and build up. Last is that we need to organize all of our democratic organizations together by county and call in meetings and start meeting now to figure out how we can discuss action plans and strategies on how to get out the vote and register new voters and get people to the polls, because it's more important now than ever that we get people to the polls, because voting apathy is a very, very, very serious issue here in Texas. And this is all going to take a lot of teamwork, and it's going to take leadership. And we need to quit waiting for permission from, a party or a party leader or somebody else to tell us, because you know what? Here's what I want to tell all of you here today. You are the cavalry. I am the cavalry. And that person that we haven't asked to run for office yet, well, they're also the cavalry. And those people that we haven't asked to help us and volunteer with us, well, they are also part of the cavalry. By working together side by side and pushing our state back towards democracy and away from Christian nationalism and fascism, we can take our state back because we know what to do and we know what is right. So we can do this, Polk County. We need you to stay steadfast. We need you to fight for Texas. We need you to fight for each other. And I certainly hope that you all are with us allies, in really working hard for change, because right now is when the work starts. It starts now. So I just want to tell you all to please come and join up with all of the different grassroots organizations in your county and with Mothers Against Greg Abbott, because all of us working together as allies can only bring the change that we need to see. So let's do it. We can do this. Victory is in our hands if we all work together. We can do this. Thank you so much. You all have a great evening, and I hope to see you this summer and this fall as we tour around Texas doing our candidate raisings. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening.